Hey, everybody, welcome to It Tastes Different Appetizers. Today, Konami reportedly working on a new Metal Gear, Castlevania, and Silent Hill games, plus a possible remake of Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater. Da-da-da. All right. So, Konami is apparently, reportedly, working on some new old school games. It's still rumored, but I honestly feel that it's the right time to do it. These are beloved franchises. Nick is just wet with anticipation for a new Castlevania. Pat is like, oh my God, Snake Eater. I love that movie. You have to be old to remember Snake Eater movies. Google them. So let's start with Pat, because I know he's the least excited about any of this, but I think it's really cool. Pat, what do you think about possible remakes and bringing these back to life?
Konami is one of those studios that's not really my favorite. They're not my least favorite neither. There's way worse studios than Konami. I mean, but I don't know, man. I mean, I guess it's a good way to review some of those older games if they remake them. So that's what to get excited about. Some of the stuff that I didn't play in the past that maybe I should play. But I just, me, I'm a graphics person. And if it looks bad, I'm apt not to play it. But I'm not graphics alone. So if they're starting to make some new Metal Gear, some of the new Metal Gear games or something, remake those, I'm game. They make Silent Hill, right? So, I mean, is that in the list? That'd be cool if that's in the list. I mean, Russ is probably creaming in his pants just listening to this. Then if it was Silent Hill possible. But I thought I read that they were also talking about making some Untitled stuff, some new stuff too. So it sounds like Konami's ramping up, their games. Konami games are kind of weird. It's also rumored
that they're working with I believe it's a Korean developer as well to bring back some of this.
So I mean, that's interesting. Like I said, they're a hit and miss studio for me. They put out some stuff that I'm just like, Konami, I don't like your fighting games. I'm not a fighting game person though. So, but they do make some decent stuff that's single player derived and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm not super excited about this. I'm like, I'm over remasters, but I'll play a remaster of a game that I never played before. So I've got some stuff like that. I've never played Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. So I will get to play that. So I back in the day, I liked a lot of my single player experiences, and then Metal Gear wasn't really on my list. The only Metal Gear stuff I remember wasn't very fun for me. I didn't like it for whatever reason or not. And I don't even remember which ones it was. It was so long ago that I'm like, so I put a bad taste in my mouth for Metal Gear, and I just never picked it up because it was like, I'm one of those people though that a single game from the franchise can unfortunately ruin me for the franchise, because I lose all respect for the franchise, not the studio. And that's kind of what's happened to some of their games. I played a bad Metal Gear, and I don't remember which one it was. All I remember was going, this game is boring. It doesn't make sense. Who knows which one it was? And I'm like, no, I'm out. So, in my opinion, they usually don't steer far from what they put in the first one, right? They tweak some of the mechanics, add some cool new features, but the gameplay is usually the same. I mean, you get the gist of a game by playing one of the game in the series sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes they completely flip the switch on the whole genre, but Konami's one of those studios for me, hit or miss. I could take them or leave them. But we'll see what they put out. I mean, I wouldn't mind giving Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater a chance. I've never played it. If they upgrade the graphics and make it better and tighten up the controls for modern consoles and stuff, I'm going to give it a try. Nick, what about you, man?
I like most of what Konami puts out. Not everything. They have put out some stinkers. I mean, the last Contra they put out, they tried to redo Contra, and that was Rogue Core, which was a horrible game.
But POS.
Yeah. So I don't mind if they want to do some remakes of Castlevania, Metal Gear, and Silent Hill. I'd rather see newer versions of these games, just a new alliteration of Castlevania, Metal Gear, and Silent Hill, not just a remake of one I've already played, because I've played them all. So That's what I'd like to see. Knowing Konami, this will all probably end up just being Plinko machines, because that's what they decided to do years back, and that's all they've been making for the last few years, just casino machines, Plinko machines. So
DLC out the wazoo. You can download 5 Konami bucks in this one.
Yeah, they'll have Silent Hill Plinko and bringing it to consoles. So, I mean, that's cool. I hope that Konami does get back into the game making, process and start making some games again, because they do have some beloved franchises that we all love. Either start making them brand new ones, not just remakes, but brand new Metal Gears and Silent Hills and Castlevania and Contras and stuff like that are good, or give those franchises off to someone else. If they want to play Plinko all day long, then go play Plinko and give those franchises to other developers that can make some cool games off of them, and stop hoarding them if you're not going to do anything with them. Again, this is just rumor, right? And it's been speculated. Silent Hill remakes have been speculated for like 2 years now, or longer. But again, all these, IGN and all these other big gaming news networks are reporting this. So maybe there is something coming down the pipeline, but I hope there is. Otherwise, like I said, I hope, if not, Konami just sells these franchises off to other developers to do. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. If they do remake them, cool. I mean, I'll probably play them again, sure. But I hope for new entries into these series more than I do remakes. But Shane, what about you, man?
I don't know how to feel, because I agree with you. I would rather see, on one hand, new games in the series, refresh starts, just start at the beginning and do new. But man, Metal Gear 1 has such a place in my heart. I still play it. I love the game. I would love to honestly see a remaster with, 4K graphics and all the good stuff. Silent Hill, really the original, probably 2 more than the original, honestly. In my opinion, 2 was the best one out of that generation by far. Would be amazing with today's graphics and all that stuff. But I would love to see Silent Hill, PT. I wanted to see that. I mean, that game was demo, whatever the hell they call it, playable demo, was amazing. Castlevania, again, I mean, that's another game that I could see remastered with, brought back and just all new everything. God, that would be cool. But new is fine too. I mean, new is absolutely fine. So I don't know how to feel about it, because I think either way, for me as a gamer, I win. If they bring me a remake, they bring me a remaster, they bring me new, I'm going to be a happy boy in the Metal Gear Solid Silent Hill franchise. I like Castlevania. I've always enjoyed Castlevania, but I'm not as into it as Nick is. I mean, he named his penis Belmont. So it's
bow to Lord Belmont.
It's little Belmont.
Problem is, he likes to go in caves and hit bats with it. But the problem with this is, and Nick's right, there have been Silent Hill remake rumors for a couple of years, Metal Gear Solid for even longer. I mean, we've had private people remastering games on their own and doing new and cool things. Konami just pulled their head out of their ass and let these people with love and passion do it, man. Throw them a few bucks to get them where they want, and then just put it out. I mean, that's really all Konami had to do for the last God knows how many years. So I think it's a great thing. I just want more fact on it. I want more solid proof. I do believe it is happening. I just think that Konami's doing Konami. I mean, they don't need to rush it because they got Pachinko paying the bills. So, plus, they must have had a hell of a fight with Kojima when, they parted ways. So maybe Kojima has like a right thing or something going on with the Metal Gear that they're finally able to do something with. I don't know, but I'm excited. I want to see Metal Gear remastered or remade. I want to see the original story redone. I think that would be awesome. But I would like to see a new one too, not 5. Just no 5. It's 5 was not worth it. But I would like to see them go back to formula. 4 was amazing. 3 though, Snake Eater, a remake on that would be badass. Snake Eater was one of my absolute favorites, and I would kill for it. So, but again, who wouldn't love to see some of the classic games from their youth brought back and remade after 30 freaking years? So
Yeah, but so Nick, you're the biggest like Castlevania fan I know.
he is a hoe.
What does it say to you when they say the word reimagining Castlevania games to you? Does that worry you? That
It's Simone Belmont.
What does that mean? What does that kind of make you feel? Because when I see reimagining, to me that says we're going to keep the characters and the settings, but we're going to change everything else about the game.
Well, they turned. I mean, Castlevania was originally like just a from point A to point B side scroller, and then they turned it into like a Metroidvania type thing that's been going strong for a long time. And then Lords of Destruction was not that, right? It was an action third person action Castlevania game, which was great. Well, the first one was, the second one not so much. But I don't know what they mean by reimagining, right? I would hope
open world.
Well, I mean, and that might be pretty cool. That might be pretty cool. I would just hope they keep the characters and the kind of atmosphere, and especially what Mercury Steam, which I think made the first Lords of Destruction, what they did with that game. Because that first one is awesome. I mean, it's like a masterpiece, as far as gaming goes for the time. I mean, great graphics, great atmosphere. It was fun gameplay. It was overall a great game. I don't know what happened with the second one. They just screwed the pooch on that one. But the first one was fantastic. It's still like one of my favorites. And if anybody's going to say which Lord of Destruction game, because there was 3 of them, there was also a 2D one on, well, it also came out to consoles, but it originally was on handhelds. Which one should you play? I would say the very first one, because that was the best one. So I'm hoping in their reimagining that maybe they would just go with that. I hope they don't change up characters and stuff like that, because these characters are pretty cemented into the Castlevania lore. So don't start, oh, now it's not Simon, it's Theodore, Belmont or some shit. Oh, it's not Belmont anymore.
Alvin!
Yeah, it's Alf. Where's the cats?
Yeah. Huh, interesting. Yeah, because that's what I always hate. It's like, yeah, I love the game, but you say reimagining, which to me says you're going to change up possibly what I love about the game.
It's either you're going, reimagining means you're going to screw it up, is what it means. It means you're going to screw up the game and no one's going to like it and everyone's going to hate you because you've screwed up what they love.
They're going to be.
You don't need to reimagine Castlevania. Castlevania
Right.
is great on its own.
Right.
Just make more of it. People will buy it off the shelves. Like, it sells itself basically.
In 3 months, they're going to be announcing that they partnered with Ubisoft to make the game.
Yeah, it's Castlevania Assassin's Creed.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you, because that's what worries me about stuff like that. I know that you're a huge Castlevania fan and you consume everything Castlevania, including like Netflix shows and shit like that. So that's your thing. And then, Shane's big thing, Shane's biggest thing is that the Metal Gear Solid stuff. But, I think when the article that we were reading said that that's actually being developed by Virtuous Studios.
Yeah, I think that's the Korean studio, right? Or
like Singaporean or whatever.
Singapore
Studio.
I think. Yeah,
I think it's in Singapore or something like that. But I don't know much about Virtuous Studios. I don't know what they pump out. I've not paid too much attention to what they make.
For Konami, here's the thing with those 3 franchises that they're talking about. And the same thing with Castlevania, what I was saying just a second ago. Metal Gear, Castlevania, and Silent Hill, they sell themselves. You put that on a shelf, and it's going to fly off that shelf. That's all there is to it.
Right. Yeah. The names alone sell them. I mean, that's why Netflix made an animated series with Castlevania, because they know the name's going to sell it and push it. So, it'll be interesting, because I think they're just talking about remasters for the Metal Gear Solid game. But for Castlevania, they keep calling it a reimagining. So.
Yeah, the Metal Gears are rumored to be remastered for the original threes, the original two, excuse me. The third one is a remake, which I'm perfectly fine with because it was absolutely amazing. I mean, that one's freaking artwork. I'm happy either way, to be honest, because we haven't had a great Metal Gear game since 3, really. 4 was fantastic. Don't get me wrong.
4.
But it wasn't near as good as 3, as far as the overall. 4 had amazing ideals and things like that. The gameplay change-ups were really good. Don't get me wrong. But as an overall beast, 3 was way above 4.
Come on, Shane. We all know that you love the Metal Gear Survive stuff, you know.
Oh my God, don't bring up that turd boss. Jesus Christ.
I forget about that one even exists.
we have to try it because I think it's on Game Pass. We have to jump back into that.
We have before.
Oh,
I know I
it
played
was
at least
bad.
3 times. It's horrible each time I play it.
Yeah.
And then, like Nick had mentioned earlier, they also did the Contra Rogue Corps, which was bad. I love the old Contra, but the Rogue Corps was bad.
Yeah, that was another turd on a shingle. The problem with news like this is it gets you hyped, it gets you mad. For some people, me, I'm excited for the Metal Gear Solid stuff. Nick's excited for the Castlevania stuff. Russ is probably nutting for Silent Hill. Pat, he's if he hadn't played it, he's fine with it. If he has played
all 3,
I'll play all of it.
Just
But the problem is we're years out from anything right now. This is all being started on, so we're like 4 or 5 years out.
Remember though, these rumors have been going around for quite a while in several of these different games. So
Konami only recently said that like they licensed this out to this studio and that studio to develop. So I'm pretty sure that's just what they did because there's no gameplay, there's no information.
No.
We're at least 3 years out, I would say, at least on anything. Because there's no hype video, there's no hype CGI, which is normally a 3-year, 2-year thing that games like that put out. And Konami's not too big on hype in some of their stuff, but they do hype the crap out of their AAA studio games, like way in advance. But they're not like most companies where we got Pokemon Pet coming out in 5 years or something stupid like that,
Yep. Turns out they had to put it down at 4. It's terrible.
Right. Never made it out of the Pokeball.
Well, is there anything
died in the nobody in water?
Is there anything else you guys want to say about these possible news? I mean,
the last thing I have to say, and I said it before, is Konami either make these games or sell them off. Quit holding on to them. If you're not going to do anything with it, then just let it go. If Planko is where you're going, casino games, by all means, go for it. And give those games to someone else.
It sounds like that's what they're doing, though. I mean, that sounds like what Konami's doing because they've kind of changed their stance on licensing their properties because the company that's doing the Silent Hill game is outsourced. It has no ties to Konami. So I think they're lightening their stance a little bit. And it's probably because fans are saying the exact same thing you are, Nick. Get off the Plinko pot,
Right.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting, and I hope most of this comes to fruition. I really do. So, all right, if nobody got anything else, make sure you like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your neighbors. We want to see those counts go up, those thumbs go up, those bells go up, and we'll see you next time. See ya.